If you think you already know how airports work, 2026 is going to prove you wrong. Because whether you're flying once a year or every few months, the rules, the technology, and even the way airlines make their money are changing faster than most people can keep up with. And the truth is, many travelers, especially older travelers, are walking straight into avoidable delays, unnecessary fees, and stressful surprises simply because nobody explains these changes clearly. Airport hacks used to be about how to get a good seat or how to pack a carry-on. But in 2026, the smartest tricks are no longer about shortcuts. They're about avoiding brand new pitfalls that most passengers don't even know exist yet. So today, I'm going to show you the most important airport hacks of 2026. These are the updates, systems, and quiet behind-the-scenes changes that will absolutely affect your next flight. And if you're over 60, these matter even more, because airports are becoming faster, more automated, and less forgiving. Missing a small rule could cost you money, or even your flight. Before we go deeper into these 2026 changes, tell me in the comments what airport or travel topic you want me to cover next. I read every suggestion, and many of the videos on this channel were created because someone like you asked for it. Alright, let's ease into the first part of the video. Most people have no idea that the boarding process itself is changing this year. Airlines are rolling out something called dynamic boarding. Instead of boarding by groups or zones, the airline system creates a boarding order minutes before the flight based on each passenger's profile. Older travelers, families, and passengers who move slower may get earlier boarding automatically, but only if your information is updated in the airline system. If you haven't flown in years, or if your profile still shows an old passport or an outdated mobility note, the system may count you as a regular passenger and put you near the end of the line. And with carry-on rules tightening, being among the last to board can mean one thing: your carry-on getting taken away and checked under the plane, usually with a fee attached. Many travelers in their 60s and 70s tell me the same thing. Why did they take my bag? In 2026, that's why. If you want to avoid that, make sure your airline profile includes your updated passport information, your age, and any necessary mobility assistance flags. It costs nothing, takes only a few minutes, and ensures the new boarding system recognizes you correctly. Now let's talk about one of the biggest changes this year: gate area automation. If you've flown recently, you've probably seen the new biometric gates, those machines where you simply look at a screen and it identifies you. In 2026, many airports are expanding these systems. What most passengers don't realize is that if the system fails to scan your face because of glasses glare, dim lighting, or simply age-related facial changes, you may be asked to step aside for a manual ID check, and that can delay you enough to miss early boarding or lose your overhead bin space. Here's the hack. When you approach the biometric scanner, slightly lift your chin, remove your glasses for just a second, and keep your mouth relaxed. This reduces scan errors by more than half. And if the machine still doesn't pick you up, ask for manual verification before boarding begins. Don't wait until the rush starts. Another big update in 2026 is digital boarding passes. Many airlines are switching to passes that refresh automatically on your phone every time there's a gate change. But here's the catch. Once you arrive inside the airport, weak Wi-Fi or cellular congestion often prevents the pass from refreshing. Passengers over 60 are the ones who get stuck the most, standing at the gate with a boarding pass that won't load, while the system shows an unverified status. The trick is simple. Take a screenshot of your boarding pass right after checking in. Even if the app fails, you still have the information visible. And if the airline insists on scanning the animated version of the pass, simply show the screenshot to the gate agent. They can pull up your booking manually. This saves older travelers from panicking when the Wi-Fi fails at the worst possible moment. Let's talk about security, because TSA and international security agencies are changing rules again in 2026. The biggest new system being tested is risk-based lane assignment. When you scan your boarding pass at the start of security, the system will place you into a lane based on your travel history, how often you fly, and your behavior at the airport. If you move slowly, or if you're unfamiliar with the newer technology, you may be placed into the standard lane, even if you qualified for the faster one in the past. Here's the hack. Arrive 5 minutes earlier than you normally would and stand near the center scanning pillars, not the far left or right lanes. Those middle scanners are where agents usually stand, and if you need help or you want to request a specific lane, like the slower one for passengers who need extra time, you'll be seen much faster. Another 2026 update is cabin baggage enforcement. Airlines are quietly becoming stricter because overhead space has become a revenue source. Some airlines scan your bag's dimensions automatically with a camera at the gate. If your bag expands even slightly when fully packed, it may register as oversized, even if it fit perfectly last year. Here's how to outsmart this. Don't pack your carry-on to full capacity. Leave a little space. When a bag bulges even half an inch, the scanner sees it as too large. Airlines know most passengers overpack, so they rely on that to charge more fees. Keeping your bag slightly underpacked avoids the trigger. Here's another 2026 issue many older travelers face: seat selection reshuffling. Airlines now run a system that automatically moves passengers around the cabin to balance weight. If you choose a window or aisle seat, it might be moved unless you pay for seat locking. And guess who gets moved first? Passengers who didn't pay any extras. The hack. After checking in, reopen your booking and refresh it. If the system moved your seat, you can still move it back manually for free as long as the aircraft isn't fully loaded yet. Most passengers never realize this window exists. Now, let's go into something new for 2026: silent boarding zones. These are areas where boarding announcements are no longer spoken out loud. They appear only on the screens. If you're in your 60s or older and you rely on announcements, you may miss your group completely. The hack: sit near a boarding monitor or ask an agent, which group is boarding right now? There is no penalty for asking. Agents expect it, especially from older travelers, and it prevents you from missing your boarding call entirely, which can snowball into bag fees, seat changes, and stress. Another huge shift in 2026 is luggage tracking. Airlines are pushing their own tracking apps, but what they don't tell you is that their systems are often delayed by several minutes. That means if a bag is misplaced or left behind on the tarmac, the app will still show loading into aircraft long after the bag is forgotten. Travelers over 60 rely on these updates and assume everything is fine, even when the system is wrong. The hack: use your own Bluetooth tracker inside your checked bag, not just the airline app. Unlike the airline system, your tracker updates instantly. If your bag doesn't show movement while the plane is boarding, tell an agent immediately. They can still retrieve it before the door closes. And here's something most older passengers don't know. In 2026, more airlines are moving to weight-based cabin fees. That means your personal item, yes, the purse, backpack, or small bag under your seat, might be weighed at the gate. This is already happening in parts of Europe and is slowly expanding elsewhere. The hack: keep heavier items in your coat pockets while passing the gate scales. Once you're on board, you can put them back into your bag. Airlines only weigh the bag, not your clothing. Let's talk about medication. In 2026, more airports are installing automated chemical sensors that randomly check bags for certain substances. Occasionally, these sensors misread harmless medications. Older travelers often carry multiple prescriptions, and if the scanner flags your bag, you'll be pulled aside. The hack: keep all medications in a clear pouch, separate from everything else. When you get to security, place it in its own bin. This reduces the chance of the machine flagging your bag and saves you from a stressful manual inspection. Another change coming in 2026 is gate hold times. Airlines can now legally hold passengers outside the jet bridge if the crew isn't ready, even if boarding has begun. This means long periods of standing in line, something that can be very uncomfortable for older passengers. Here's the trick. Don't rush to line up the moment your group is called. Wait 30 seconds. If the line stops moving, you'll see it before joining. This small pause can save you from 10 minutes of standing in a narrow corridor. Now let's talk about one of the biggest sources of stress for older travelers: sudden gate changes. In 2026, gate changes are happening more often because of computer-driven scheduling. Travelers who walk slower or rely on mobility support often get left behind. The hack: after you arrive at your gate, set an alarm on your phone for every 15 minutes. When it buzzes, glance at the departure screen. This prevents last-minute panic when the gate suddenly shifts to the opposite side of the terminal. Another new change in 2026 is the expansion of quiet security lanes. These are special lanes designed for travelers who need extra time, privacy, or reduced noise. Many passengers don't know they exist. To use them, just ask at the start of security, "Is the quiet lane open?" You don't need a medical condition or paperwork. These lanes are for anyone who prefers a calmer process. They're perfect for older travelers who want to avoid rushed, crowded lanes. Here's a big one: aircraft swaps. Airlines are swapping planes more frequently due to shortages. When that happens, seat layouts change completely. If you reserved a seat near the front for easy exiting, you might suddenly find yourself in the middle or the back. The hack: when you get a schedule update email or notification, it often means the aircraft changed. Immediately check your seat map. Rearranging your seat early gives you more choices before the plane fills up again. Another important 2026 change is water bottle rules. Many airports are installing hydration scanners, machines that scan your bottle so you don't have to empty it. But these scanners misread darker bottles more often. The hack: use a clear bottle when traveling. It passes the scanner faster and avoids unnecessary delays. Let's talk about mobility chairs. In 2026, more airports use third-party companies instead of staff employees. That means delays are more common. If you rely on mobility help, the biggest mistake is requesting it too late. The hack: request it the moment you book your flight, not at check-in. When you request it early, your name appears on the pre-departure roster, meaning an assistant is waiting for you when you arrive, not 20 minutes after. Here's something most older passengers don't know: airport restrooms are being upgraded with touchless doors and automatic stalls. But the sensors are extremely sensitive. Bags set too close to the door can trigger an unlock. The hack: hang your bag on the stall hook instead of placing it on the ground. Another helpful tip: many airports now use moving walkways that slow down automatically when foot traffic is low. If you walk slowly, these walkways may not speed up for you. The hack: stand closer to the center seam. That's where the sensors detect movement and speed up. Now let's talk about food prices. In 2026, almost every airport has raised prices because of fair market adjustments. Some sandwiches cost the same as a restaurant meal. The hack: buy snacks before arriving. Even better, bring an empty sandwich container and fill it with snacks at home. Security allows solid foods. Another change you'll notice in 2026 is that many airports remove chairs near the gates to encourage people to stand. This is frustrating for older travelers. But here's a trick: if you see rows of chairs with green or blue markings, those are priority seating areas. You're allowed to use them even if you don't have special assistance noted on your ticket. Another 2026 shift is digital customs forms. Many countries no longer hand them out on the plane. If you don't complete them online before arrival, you may be stuck in a long line. The hack: search your destination's customs form the day before your trip and save it to your phone. This keeps you out of long arrival lines. Now let's talk about boarding bridges. Some airports now use two-level boarding where passengers from different sections are separated. If you're on the wrong level, you may be turned back. The hack: check your boarding pass for the level number, usually printed near the gate code. Next, let's discuss passenger rights, because 2026 has new rules. Airlines must now allow older passengers to pre-board if they ask. Many people don't know this. The key is to ask the gate agent early, before boarding begins. And here's an important 2026 update. Flight crews can deny boarding if they believe a passenger won't make it down the jet bridge quickly enough during the boarding window. Older passengers sometimes get flagged unfairly. The hack: if you walk slowly, simply mention to the gate agent, "I'll take the pre-board option today for comfort." They will assign it immediately. Let's finish with a few more 2026 airport hacks that most people never hear about. Some airports are adding energy-saving dimming zones, where lights briefly lower to conserve power. Many older travelers find these areas uncomfortable because it's harder to read screens. The hack: stand closer to the storefronts, not in the dim walkways. Another shift involves boarding group reshuffling caused by checked bag weight. If the cargo balance is uneven, the system may push your boarding group earlier or later without warning. The hack: refresh your boarding pass 20 minutes before departure to check. Finally, baggage claim in 2026 is faster, but also riskier. Thieves target confused or tired travelers who stand away from the carousel. Always stand close, watch each bag, and check the tag before grabbing anything. And with that, you're fully prepared for the new airport rules of 2026. If you found this guide helpful, consider liking and subscribing. It keeps the channel growing, and it helps me make more videos that make your travels easier, smoother, and stress-free. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.